Hey there, good morning. Tim from Alpha Wolf Trading coming at you with this morning's pre-market prep. Stocks to watch for investing and trading. And actually, there's not a whole lot of stocks to watch for investing and trading for me today. Really, primarily going to focus on, going to not make this so complicated and kind of focus on some ETFs and look at those opportunities today as opposed to picking out some individual stocks to keep an eye on. There are some stocks out there that've got some news going on, um, and worth keeping an eye on some things here. Low floater shippers are going a little wacky this morning. Looks like some news from dry ships, which is just a absolute garbage stock. Um, but that's got the sector moving this morning, and there could be some opportunities there for some trades. But you look at those things as lottery tickets, right? You look at those as complete lottery tickets, and then just looking at some of the names that are popping this morning. Uh, Actually, hold on one second. My screen just froze up. Hold on. Okay, I'm back. So, looking at a few of the names that are popping this morning, TOPS is gapping up. This hit about $2.50 or so. This just did a recent reverse split. And let's see what else we've got going on. Tops. DCIX is getting a little bit of action in pre market. That's gapping up to about 54 cents or so. Looks like basically right into the 8 EMA. All these are terrible looking stocks. This just did a reverse split. Um, they just dilute and reverse split the crap out of their shareholders. So be very, very careful um, if you decide to play these names. Pure lottery tickets. I mean, there are other decent shippers out there, right? Salt actually has a kind of an interesting look above all of the moving averages. $7 could act as support. If this sector gets hot, maybe you get a pop up into the $7.70 range that's been acting as resistance. It's tapped up there several times, but worth keeping an eye on the space. Could be some trading opportunities in there. Do not chase, right? Don't chase. So that sector is getting some action. Let's take a look at some of these other RADA. One of the pro members brought this up in the live pre-market prep, and I actually kind of like this chart. I mean, this is a pop and flopper. It has been a pop and flopper in the past, but getting some volume bars here, maybe some potential accumulation going on in this name. It's oversold. It's just the stochastics are curling to the upside. It looks like it keeps coming up and testing that 235 as resistance, right? Bouncing holdings appearing to hold here at the 50-day moving average. It's a super tiny float, 12.9 million shares in the float, traded 1.8 million shares yesterday, was unable to take out that high of 235, so that's kind of the line in the sand. Maybe you look for this to pull back to 189 or so, 190, maybe you close the gap at 195. Look for a bounce. Could get a scalp opportunity out of that one. If you get some follow through volume on this, I think this could be an interesting one to watch for a potential day trade. Um, JNUG, Nugget, IAG. IAG is actually one of my favorite looking stock charts in the gold space. It was actually down a little bit yesterday. If gold, the miners get some action, I think this one is interesting. This is a thicker stock, so takes a bit to move it. But if gold continues to rise in this safety trade environment, with all this rhetoric we've got going on with North Korea, this could be one to keep an eye on, right? But like I said, thicker stock, JNUG and Nugget. If you're just looking for levered ETFs for a potential opportunity, they're flirting with the 50-day moving average now. These things have been gapping and then not getting a whole lot of follow through. We'll see what happens. Flirting with the $18 holla on JNUG. I think it's worth keeping an eye on. SA isn't has a pretty decent look to it, right? Pulled back to the 50-day moving average, bounced a little bit after a nice little run. It pulled back. If gold and the gold miners get active, I mean, this thing has a tendency to pop and then pull back a little bit, right? These wicks, but look for it to take out that 20-day moving average, right? If we can get over a buck 1140 or so, I think maybe you get a test up to 12, maybe even into, hold on a second here, 1250, right in that area, probably be a good area to take some, lock in some profits, but stochastic curling up on that one as well. THM, if you're looking for a penny play in the gold space, this one's kind of interesting, right? I mean, it's above the 50-day and it's been consolidating. It's been bouncing up into this 200-day moving average right there and pulling back 56 cents. Potential flat top breakout on this one. Penny play. Stochastic just curled to the upside. Decent volume, 284,000 shares, 74 million shares in the float, so it's pretty thin float. This thing really starts to get some action off of, with some real volume. This could get a little interesting here. So worth keeping an eye on THM, right? Core CPI. Let's see, 10 versus 20 estimate. GDX spiking up. So gold just spiked. Dust and J Dust are spiking down. So Nugget spiking. So we're getting some action in gold. So that could make this very interesting for this THC. It's worth keeping an eye on, maybe for a day trading opportunity. Nvidia got whacked. Great earnings, right? Great earnings and good guidance, but just overvalued, overbought. I mean, if you look how far away we are from the 200-day moving average, we're quite a ways away. Now, I'm not suggesting it's going to come all the way down and test the 200-day. You could look for a pullback. Right now it's sitting at about 150 or 152 dollars or so. If it breaks below that 50-day, maybe we come down, we test this 141 area as support, which is where the 100 EMA is and where we've got a little price support here. If it breaks below there, then yeah, it's perfectly feasible to think that we could come down and test that 116, 118 area where we have some price resistance, right? And likely the 200-day moving average. So AMD pulling back as well. So I think those two, maybe there's an intraday bounce play in those. I don't think they're just going to head straight down. I think you may get a couple of bounces. They're thick stocks, but worth keeping an eye on both NVIDIA and AMD for potential bounce trade off of support. And then let's just keep this really simple. UVXY, TVIX, right? Look for some trade in volatility. If fear really starts to come in, pour into the marketplace, we're going to see some more fear. And, we got a pretty good pop in UVXY yesterday over the 50-day. TVIX, same thing, over the 50-day. And maybe you look for a pullback to the 50-day and then a bounce, right? Don't chase these things. Don't chase gap ups. Look for an intraday setup. And typically, what I say on these things, these levered ETFs for volatility is, you hold. These are not typically something you want to hold overnight. They're meant to be day trading vehicles. But look, if you crush it and you lock in some profit and you want to hold some shares overnight as lottos, do so. Right? I mean, but don't hold your full position. Make sure you lock some profit in these trading vehicles, because if we get a vicious snapback in the markets, you're going to see these things plunge. Okay, so be careful with those. LABD, TZA, LABD. If the biotech market, the IBB continues to decline, LABD, which closed above its 50-day moving average yesterday, right? So that can get active. Look for an intraday setup there. TZA, if the IWM, if small caps continue to plunge, then you will look for an opportunity in TZA. Now, this is getting a bit extended. This has had a pretty nice run already, but that's why I suggest not chasing these things. And again, LABD, TZA, same thing. You got to be careful with these 3-time levered ETFs. Don't hold these things or your full position. Make sure you lock profits. And if you want to hold some, especially going into the weekend, right? Much higher risk. Maybe all of a sudden, North Korea and Trump become best friends over the weekend. Highly unlikely, but take some of the risk out of the market. And then Monday we open up and the stocks are gapping and these things are going to gap down. So just be careful. Like I said, lock some of your profit as you trade these things. SPXS and XPXU, those are S&P 500 3-time bear. SPXS, right, just closed above the 50-day, and SPXU, which is not a levered, just a short ETF, right, flirting with this 50-day as well. So I think those are all things that you want to keep an eye on today for potential opportunities. Don't panic. Look, don't. This is not a time when you want to panic, right? Put together a plan, a strategy. Oh wow, look, dry ships just opened up. Dry ships just is gapping 102%. This is unbelievable. Unbelievable. Trading vehicle, and do not chase it. Do not chase it. What I mean by that, look, it's going to gap up. So if you happen to buy it, by definition, right, you're chasing it. But what I'm saying is, look for an intraday setup, right? Don't buy that opening candle at market. Look to do a limit order and try to find some kind of an intraday setup on a shorter term time frame, whatever time frame that is, that you're comfortable trading in. 5-minute, 15-minute, 1 minute, whatever it is. Find a setup. Look for a pattern that is tradable, right? VWAP test bounce, right? Red to green. 1, 2, 3 pattern. Figure it out. Don't just buy an opening candle with a market order. All right? All right, be careful out there. Be safe. If you like what I do here, sign up over at alphawolftrading.com to have the stocks to watch videos sent directly to your email each and every week. If you want to be a part of the family at alphawolftrading.com, but you've got some questions and you'd like to have answered, hit me up. We'd love to have you. We'd love to have you join. So, great group of people. Great group of people. Small group, but great group of people. So, all right. Have a fantastic day. Good luck trading and have a wonderful weekend. I'll see you later this weekend.